good feeling British Grand Prix. Welcome to Formula 4 Average, and let's discuss it. So there are multiple things which made me smile this weekend. And of course, the two most memorable things from this weekend I have to highlight: Lando Norris and Nico Hülkenberg, for very different reasons. But those are the two standout things which happened in this chaotic weekend. Well, actually, Sunday was chaotic. But the British weather didn't let us down. It delivered drama. You may like it, you may not like it. At some point during the first half of the race, I was like, oh, come on. Can we get it racing? Do we have to watch safety car after virtual safety car? Or can we go racing? But afterwards, it just gave a little bit of a spice to all of it. And just because out of the respect to the winner, let's discuss Lando Norris. And I'm really happy for him. And if you are his fan, then you are happy for this victory. If you are Oscar Piastri's fan, then you are not happy with this, but it's racing and stewards are part of it. So yeah, that's the decision, what was done and what was made. And of course, that is one of the things that let Lando win, but he drove a really strong race also. You must admit that. I think in this race, pretty much every driver made some kind of a mistake, bigger or smaller, but they made mistakes. The top drivers, even Max Verstappen, who is known for his masterclass in the rain, he made a huge costly mistake for himself. And many different drivers made mistakes. But I think at least it didn't show on the screen, or I didn't see it. Lando Norris didn't make a mistake and Nico Hülkenberg didn't make a mistake. All the other drivers took some detours outside of the track limits and made some mistakes. So those two drivers, Norris and Hülkenberg, those are the ones which deserves respect for this race for different reasons, obviously. And Norris being the, let's say, star or the up and rising star, future potential F1 champion in the making, and being a Brit himself, winning at Silverstone, of course, as he has said it himself, huge milestone achieved. And he was delighted and happy, and the whole weekend was buzzing and fuzzing around this, and there were people predicting all Brits podium, which didn't happen, of course. But Norris was the one who did what he needed to do. Actually, he drove a solid race. He did everything he needed to do. He was in the right time, right place, and it was a complete drive from his side, and I can't take that away from him. And as he said it himself in the post-race interview, this is a huge win. Maybe it's not the way how he won because of the penalty, but still a win is a win. Kind of like it was, I think, last year when Oscar took his first win. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was Hungary or something, and there was like a similar situation in a way that sort of the focus went somewhere else. When Oscar won, there was a team orders and stuff like that, but still the joy of winning was taken away from him. And I think in this particular case for Lando, it was also not that it was a win. It's a great win and he deserves it, but it would have felt better if he had actually won it on a fight on the track, which he didn't. And that's the small minor thing that maybe could be taken away from this weekend. That's the only negative thing from his perspective, I think, in this particular weekend. Other than that, strong race, dominant result. And he proves that he is championship material. Now he has won also back-to-back races, which he had not done so far in his career in Formula 1. So now he has done it, so that's also very good, and he's gaining momentum in the championship. So we'll see how it further develops. So congratulations to Norris, did a very solid race, head down, did what he needed to do, so that's on the positive side. Another huge, of course, positive side of this race is Nico Hülkenberg. And it goes without saying that he is I think one of the most underrated drivers. You can imagine that he has done, this was his 239th start in Formula 1, so he is like a veteran in the sport. He started, his first race was back in 2010. So yes, then he had like 2 or 3, I think three years without a proper drive. He was a reserve driver in between and so on. But so basically he has been a Formula 1 driver for 12 years, 12 full seasons in Formula 1, and this is his first podium. 239 races and his first podium came here. So that just put a smile on my face, and I think it's the good feeling kind of thing. They were the underdogs, and of course they are the underdogs of the season. And here, I think in my last podcast I said, when they scored what was it, P5 and something in the points, both cars were in the points, I think. So I told that well, with irony at that time, saying that potentially, yeah, there's a podium somewhere there, and then I dismissed myself. But you see that it came true. So of course, the changing conditions and lots of things happening, safety cars and crashes and whatnot. But yet again, we have to remember that he started P19, so he started pretty much last, and he was able to get on the podium. So they did something right? So the team, as he said in the post-race interviews, the team made the perfect timing in the pit stops. There was no mistakes made. As I said also, I didn't see any mistakes from him on the track. He drove a solid race. The team did an excellent job, and there's the result. And at some point when Hamilton, he was still in P4, Stroll was in P3, Hamilton was in P5, and Hamilton was closing up and gaining. I thought that, okay, I was at that moment, I was pretty convinced that Hamilton will take both of them, and Hamilton will be P3, and Stroll and Hülkenberg will be, I don't know in which order, but P4, P5 or something like that. But it proved that Ferrari was not able to fight them, and this is already the second time this year when Ferrari was not able to overtake or take a fight with Sauber. There's a couple of races back when Sauber overtook, and it was again Hülkenberg overtook Hamilton for that time. It was P6 or something like that. So it turns out that Sauber has a decent pace, and Hamilton was not able to basically come close to overtaking him. And yes, there was I think in the pit stops there was a little bit of a delay when Hamilton changed his tires. He got delayed with the release because there was traffic coming in, so they had to wait a couple of seconds, and Hülkenberg had pitted already, so he had He had the clear track, and so basically, the all the circumstances was pretty much in Hülkenberg's favor. As I said, they did a perfect pit stop strategy, pitted early, and then they won with the better tire when the rain came. So yeah, everything just clicked together for them, and it's a perfect weekend for Hülkenberg in particular, and also the Kick Sauber. So again, huge congratulations to him. I honestly, of course, I can't imagine even how it is to drive an F1 car or something, but I know how it feels when you have been persistently working towards something, and then finally, after how many attempts, you achieve something. So I think pretty much anyone can relate with that feeling that after years of doing something, you are finally able to achieve something. So I think that's the good feeling of this Great Britain British Grand Prix. And of course, as I said, I'm happy for Lando, but for Lando, it's like, if he hadn't done it this year, he probably would do it next year or year after or something. He's, as I said, the future champion, and he would have done it anyways, I think, throughout his career. But with Hülkenberg, you never know. He's a senior driver. He's 37 years of age, and of course, yes, he now has a contract for next, I don't know how many years with Audi now, also staying in the Kick Sauber, rebranding to Audi next year. So he still has a drive there, so he still will get some races under his belt, but nevertheless, he's not in his upper trajectory of his career. So it's good to see when people achieve good results and those underdog stories, and this is one of them, and I'm so happy for this, and this is just puts a huge smile on my face, and I'm so happy to see it. The unlucky guy, I guess, is Piastri of this race, but again, I will need to look deeper, and I've read the Stewart's report, and basically he was given a 10-second penalty for erratic driving or braking unnecessarily sharp, so that it could have caused potentially an incident. And so basically erratic driving, so 10-second penalty, and I don't know. I'm not a steward, and I don't have all the access to all the data, and I don't know all the details, but from the interviews I heard, and from drivers and from other more knowledgeable people, everybody pretty much agrees that 10-second penalties is very harsh. Even Verstappen, he did an interview in Dutch media, and there he also said that 10 seconds for this kind of thing is too harsh. He admitted that yes, he was caught out by this kind of action, but he also said that this penalty is too harsh. So yeah, it's I think pretty much everybody agrees with that. This penalty was very harsh, especially for the leader, especially for the driver who is fighting for the championship. And he was in control, and I feel for him, because he was in control of the race, and he was 13 seconds ahead at some point, and then this I think it was the second full safety car, I guess. Anyway, safety car, and then he lost all of this advantage, and then he made this sort of allegedly mistake there by braking too hard, thus being said that he has done some erratic driving. So yeah, I need to feel for the guy, and he was very down and in a very bad mood after the race, and I can imagine that, but I have never seen him like that, because he also understands, and he said that, you don't feel that this is the result you deserve. You get something that you did not deserve, and I think this is the bad thing, that when driver admits his mistake, yes, I made a mistake, so I'm sorry for that, and we move on. But in this case, it's a very controversial call, I think, and many comparisons were made to the Canadian Grand Prix when Russell did this kind of a braking, and then Max also needed to evade him. And for that kind of a penalty, for that kind of action, Russell didn't. Basically, the incident was dismissed. Now, of course, the conditions are different. They were saying that but it's damp and all the fog or moist or whatever you call it from the tires is there. You can't see ahead, so any kind of erratic braking is very dangerous. Yes, however, they are racing drivers, and if they operate within the rules, then I don't see how this would, because there was no accident. And I think that Max was not in his line, and he did not even take this. He did not evade him or anything. He was just braking in the straight line. So, arguably, no damage was done or could have been done. On the contrary, yes, it's different conditions. You can't see difficult conditions. So there's that also. So I let this one go. The stewards decided, and let's see if there's going to be any kind of appeal. I guess that there won't, because that would mean all kinds of shenanigans within the team of McLaren. If that would have been a different team, let's say not the teammates, but two other competitors or rivals, that would be a different story, and I think there would definitely be an appeal and hearing and everything. But in this case, I don't think there's going to be, because what the McLaren will gain? Nothing. So I think there will be no further action on this one. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, but it was what it was, and we can't take it back. Other drivers worth mentioning: Hamilton did a decent race, I think. He was complaining about a very snappy car, and he had his moment by himself also, and ultimately coming home P4. In the beginning of the race, he looked actually very fast, and it looked that he could potentially fight for the podium. But this second pit stop and the last stint, it was not good for him. The car did not look good on the softs. As I said, Kick Sauber on mediums looked even better. So there was no real chance for him to fight. But in the beginning, the first stint, before the first rain came, he looked very competitive and looked promising. But ultimately did not have pace to follow or even overtake or think about overtaking Hülkenberg. So P5 there. P4, sorry. P5 Verstappen, as I said, rare mistake by Verstappen in the wet conditions, because usually he's known for the very good driving and we remember, of course, the Brazil and last year and how he drove from, I don't remember, P17 or whatever, winning the race. And we know how good Max is in wet, but in this particular case made a rare mistake after the safety car restart, and P5 ultimately he fought back, so that was good, but for a very long time he was not able to overtake those Alpine and Aston, so he was fighting with the car. He was fighting, and as it was said, his car was set for minimum downforce for the dry track, and it basically went completely different direction. So his car was not set up correctly, or not correctly. It was set up correctly for dry weather, but it was not. So That's why ultimately P5, which is, considering everything, also very good result, because his teammate, unfortunately, again, Yuki did not have a great or good race. He had an accident. He turned into someone. I don't remember who it was now, but he caused a collision. So yeah, he was the last car who actually finished the race, P15. So yeah, not great, and Red Bull is still continue to struggle with the second car. P6 was Gasly. Great race from him, also great result for the team and for himself. This was the highest position for this year for the team. So solid race. Was fighting throughout the race. He started P10, finished P6, so he gained good positions. A good solid performance from his side. So in that sense, also good to see. Then we have Aston Martin, meaning Stroll, Albon and Alonso. So 2 Aston Martins in the points. Although, Stroll at some point was running even P3, but he was yet to pit. So ultimately P7. And Stroll is also relatively good in rain. So this was kind of his weekend, and he, considering that he started P18 and finished P7, that's also a remarkable result. And Albon at the end in the points, so that's also a good result. Started P13 actually. Yeah, we qualified P14, but then there was these penalties and so on. So he started P13. So decent result for Albon. 4 points for the team. So that's good. Alonso, he was not happy about his race. Finished P9, started P7. So yeah, not a great result for him, and that's what it is. But at least 2 points for the team. Yeah, Russell and Leclerc, they took the gamble in the beginning of the race. Changed the tires in the formation lap to slicks, from medium wets to slicks. And on hindsight, of course, I guess that was not the right call, because there were safety cars and then the rain came, so they ultimately lost out. And for Leclerc, it was also an awful race, one to forget. And as he said himself, also probably one of the toughest races of his career, because he said the car was nowhere. He was fighting all time. Plus the strategy was not correct, and they tried something aggressive. They went for the slicks in the beginning, which ultimately did not pay off. So they tried something. You can't blame them for that. It's just weird that they don't see these let's say rain comings or something, because they have the radars, the maps and everything, and maybe the British weather is so hard to predict that you can't predict it even 15 or 20 minutes in ahead, only 10 minutes in ahead. But yeah, Leclerc and Russell, ultimately a bad race, and nothing they could do about it. And then, as I already said, multiple people DNF'd. Antonelli, Hajar, Bortoleto, Lawson and Colapinto did not even start. Apparently his car had to be retired after the formation lap because of some the gearbox was stuck in the second gear. So anyway, so those guys were out. Antonelli, without his fault, basically Hajar hit him out. So yeah, poor judgment from Hajar, but as he said that he was not able to see anything. And actually this is amazing when you see those onboard cameras, especially as today when there was a heavy rain, and when you see those onboard cameras, I can't even imagine how you can drive in that kind of a condition, yet alone to compete and go full throttle in those conditions, because you can't see anything. Even if you know the track layout by heart, you don't know where are the other drivers, and you basically can't see them. And that's what exactly happened with Hajar. He didn't see anything until it was too late. So yeah, it was bad luck, I guess, for them, but it is experience, I guess. Antonelli, Hajar, Bortoleto, Lawson, Colapinto, not because of his own fault, but all of those are pretty much rookies. Behrman not being the only rookie who actually finished the race in P11, and Behrman and Ocon, they had a pretty mediocre race. Did hit each other, they came together, did a beautiful synchronized 360 spin. Probably in the social medias or somewhere there will be the video how they spin almost like a synchronized dance. But of course it was not good for the result, but that's racing, and that's racing in a wet. These things tend to happen. So yeah, the only driver I didn't mention, Sainz, pretty mediocre race, mediocre qualifying, so nothing much to tell there. He said that he had some damage somewhere along the way. I don't remember with whom, but apparently he had some damage on the car, so he was not able to improve. So I think that's pretty much it from the race. As I said, and I will say it once more, huge congratulations to Norris and Hülkenberg. At least two guys on the podium were very happy. The third guy, which took the second place, was not happy at all, but you can understand why. So those, the highlight of the race for me definitely is Hülkenberg, just because of the reasons I said. So really happy. It's just a fun fact, by the way, that which I also found out later only, that the trophies for this particular race was made out of Lego. So it is kind of a little bit of a, let's say, I'm not sure, shame or something. Even in the post-race interviews, Piastri made a joke or asked Hülkenberg, how does it feel to get your first podium and first trophy, and it's made of Lego? It's not a real whatever metal trophy, but it's made out of Lego, and it was a partnership or promotional thing that they did for this race. To which Hülkenberg pretty much answered that he loved Legos, and so he took it as a joke, of course, and everything. But not sure how I feel about that. If I would receive a trophy, my first trophy and something, and that would be out of Lego. I know that's not the trophy that counts. It's the fact itself, but still, it's a representation of that fact, right? So, and it's a little bit weird, let's put it that way. That's how I feel about it. Maybe somebody's thinking it's a great idea, and obviously there were many people who thought that when they made it. I'm up all for kind of promotions, and I really love the thing that they did in Miami with these cars and the show and everything, and I thought that was a great thing. Trophies out of Lego, I guess I'm not on board with that, but okay. So let's look at the championship, and this becomes more and more interesting. Starting with the Drivers' Championship, so Piastri still is in the lead, but only by 8 points now. So this is really close now, and if this happens again, when Norris is first and Piastri is second, then there will be only 1 point in between. So, and then already it becomes very, very interesting. It's already very interesting. So, yes, looking forward for next couple of races to see actually, we are now at the midpoint of the season. So looking towards the second half of the season to see how this championship fight plays out. And there's plenty still of races, 12 more to go. So a lot can happen in the next 12 races. But of course, McLarens are the favorites. And but with this kind of a race and this kind of a points, meaning Hülkenberg scoring 15 points for his P3, he now sits at 37 points in total, and he is P9 in the Drivers' Championship, which is great to see. I think he took one place and he overtook Ocon, and Gasly also now is P13. I think climbed up one place. So good things happening in the Drivers' Championship, and Hamilton closed a little bit the gap towards Leclerc, so now it's 16 points the gap. So interesting second half of the season is coming. In the Constructors' Championship, of course, McLaren extending their lead yet again, scoring 43 points and extending their lead to 460 points now. Ferrari coming second with 222 points, and then Mercedes third with 210 points. So the battle for second and third is still very wide open. And Red Bull, they are having a bad streak of results. And they have been scoring, in the last 4 races, they have scored less points than Kick Sauber. So their one driver not being able to deliver as many points as necessary. So, but Sauber, for example, I know it's not the best comparison, but Sauber is kicking where it matters. So, and in the Constructors, they jumped 2 places from P8 to P6 now, and they are hunting Williams, which lately has been struggling, and there's only 18 points between them. So again, Kick Sauber looking as the midfield team leader at the moment. So that's interesting to see, and we'll need to see what the teams will bring for the second half of this year. So that's it from this about this podcast. That's it from my side. Thank you very much for listening. Now we'll have a little bit of a break, and we come back in the late July with the race in Belgium, in Spa, which is also another awesome track. We have had rain there. We have had even pretty much cancelled races, if we remember when Russell took the podium with Williams back in the day in a very rainy Spa, when basically all the laps were done behind the safety car. Hopefully we'll not get to that much rain. However, looking forward to see a good race, an interesting race in Spa. After that, another podcast coming. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being a Formula One fan. Stay safe and see you. Bye.